Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive.
Yeah.
Today we're going to be looking at
Mm.
Harvey Weinstein
All right.
and Jessica Mann.
Sounds
We're
good.
going to be using Candace Owens' video
Okay.
called Harvey Speaks, Jessica Mann, and the 5-Year Affair, Ep 3.
Mm.
Now, Candace Owens is a conservative commentator,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
she's been, pretty outspoken against the Me Too movement.
Yeah.
And so we're going to be looking at that to kind of frame this whole
Awesome.
deep dive and kind of
Okay.
see.
All right. No.
Was Weinstein's conviction truly about justice,
Mm.
or was it something else,
Okay.
as Owens suggests?
All right. Yeah. So Owens argues that it was really this social justice pressure
Right.
more than the facts of the case that drove that guilty verdict.
Okay.
So we're going to unpack the evidence and
Right.
see,
Okay.
what actually happened
Yeah.
and what was said
Yeah.
and what went down in the courtroom.
So-
yeah.
Let's go back to the beginning.
Okay.
Jessica Mann.
Mm-hmm.
She's an aspiring actress
Okay.
in her late 20s when she meets Harvey Weinstein.
Yep.
And right away, Mann claims that she felt pressured
Oh, wow.
into these sexual encounters with him.
So this is like classic Hollywood power dynamics, right?
Yeah.
You've got this young actress trying to make it big,
Right.
and then you have this huge producer like
Yeah.
Weinstein, and,
Yeah.
it really raises all sorts of questions
Mm.
about consent and coercion in these situations,
Right.
especially when Mann alleges that Weinstein forced oral sex on her
Right.
during a meeting.
Yeah.
And get this, with a friend present.
Wow.
So, this is really disturbing and...
It's a pretty serious allegation.
Absolutely.
And it seems to fit a pattern we've heard from other women
Yeah.
accusing Weinstein.
Right. It definitely raises red flags.
Yeah.
But here's where the story gets really interesting.
Okay.
Mann admitted to agreeing to some encounters with Weinstein because she thought it would help her career.
So wait a minute.
Yeah.
On the one hand, you have these really serious misconduct allegations.
Right.
But then on the other hand,
Yeah.
she's saying that she was willingly
Yeah.
participating in some activities with him,
Right.
hoping that it would help her.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, what was the nature of their relationship?
Yeah.
What does consent even mean
Exactly.
in a situation like this?
This is why we need to take a closer look
Yeah.
at the specific incident that Mann is calling rape.
Okay.
It supposedly took place on March 18th, 2013,
Okay.
at the Doubletree Hotel in Manhattan.
Okay.
This is a key part of the case,
Right.
but even here, the details aren't super clear.
All right, so walk me through this,
Okay.
because this is where it starts to get kind of messy.
Okay.
Hours after this alleged assault,
Yeah.
Mann receives a plane ticket
What?
from Weinstein's office for a trip to L.A.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
and it doesn't end there.
Oh, boy.
Mann requests a car to the airport from the Doubletree,
Okay.
and when she gets to L.A.,
Yeah.
she requests Weinstein's driver.
So and it
Yeah.
makes you wonder, why would a victim of rape
Right.
stay in contact with their attacker
Exactly.
and even accept these favors from them?
It seems odd.
Right.
No.
Owens uses this sequence of events to say
Yeah.
that the story doesn't add up. It's
Right.
like, okay, if this really happened,
Yeah.
why would you be doing all this?
Okay, yeah, it doesn't make a ton of sense.
Right.
It's weird.
It's really strange.
Owens is saying that Mann's actions after the alleged assault
Yeah.
don't match up with the claim of rape.
Right.
But, we have to remember that
Okay.
trauma can be really complicated.
Yeah. Of
And it
course.
can make people act
Right.
in ways that seem kind of counterintuitive
That's
to
it.
people looking in from the outside.
Yeah. Sometimes people
Yeah.
don't react in the way that,
Right. Yeah.
someone else might expect.
Yeah. And it's not always a straightforward,
Right.
linear reaction.
Exactly.
But even with all that said,
Okay.
there are more inconsistencies that we got to look at.
Let's hear it.
So at the time of this alleged assault,
Yeah.
Mann was visiting New York with a friend,
Okay.
Thomas Richards Lozano,
Yeah.
and they were sharing a hotel room.
So they were together.
Yeah, they were together on this trip.
Okay.
And here's where it gets even more complicated.
Okay.
Mann didn't tell Lozano
Really?
about the alleged rape.
Oh.
And she also didn't tell her best friend,
Okay.
Toyda Maya,
Hmm.
who was at breakfast
Great.
with Weinstein and Mann after the alleged incident.
So hold on. She had breakfast
Yeah.
with her alleged rapist
Yeah.
and her friend and her best friend
Yeah.
hours after.
Hours after.
And she didn't say anything to
Look,
anybody.
golly.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's wild, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
And to make things even crazier,
Okay.
Toyota Maya
Yeah.
testified.
That Mann and Weinstein
Okay.
had a consensual relationship.
Really?
And she even said that Mann called Weinstein her soulmate.
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 That doesn't sound like a terrified victim.
Not really.
No, not at all.
It paints a very different picture.
Absolutely.
And then Maya also contradicted Mann's account
Oh, wow.
of their first meeting with Weinstein,
Okay.
which makes you question
Yeah.
Mann's credibility overall.
Right. So we've got conflicting accounts from
Yeah.
people who were there
Yeah.
at these important moments.
Right.
And it just keeps getting more tangled.
It's like a big knot.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we have hundreds of emails
100.
between Mann and Weinstein
Wow.
over 5 years,
Okay.
which Owen says show a consensual relationship.
Okay, so let's dive into those emails
Yeah.
because they seem pretty important to Owen's argument.
Yeah, they're like the key piece of evidence for her.
Right. So, for example,
Yeah.
less than a month
Like-
after the alleged rape, Mann emails Weinstein asking for help
Oh, wow.
with a role in Vampire Academy.
Interesting.
That's pretty unusual behavior
Yeah.
for someone who is just traumatized.
Yeah, it seems strange to ask for a favor
Right.
from someone you're afraid of.
Exactly.
So she's asking for help with her career
Yeah.
less than a month after this alleged rape.
Less than a month.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it doesn't stop there.
Oh, no.
Over a year later,
Oh, okay.
Mann invited Weinstein to meet her mother
Okay.
and even joked about showing him her good genes in an email.
Really?
These emails really don't show
Yeah.
a woman living in fear.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it.
And there's more.
There's more.
After a breakup,
Okay.
Mann reached out to Weinstein
Okay.
for consolation
Oh, wow.
and wanted to have dinner with him.
Interesting.
So again, this doesn't really match up
Yeah.
with someone who was deeply traumatized by him.
Right.
The emails seem to contradict
Yeah.
the courtroom narrative.
They really do.
And then we have to think about all the favors
Okay.
that Weinstein allegedly gave Mann,
Yeah.
like a job cutting hair,
Really?
a Soho House membership,
Oh.
even money when she had car troubles.
So all this suggests that
Yeah.
their relationship was more than just a
Yeah.
couple of encounters.
Mhm.
It was this ongoing thing.
Yeah.
And it seemed pretty friendly,
Right.
at least on the surface.
Yeah. And then there's the thing about Mann
Oh, yeah.
participating in threesomes with Weinstein.
Yeah. That's a pretty shocking detail.
Yeah. How do
Yeah.
you make sense of that?
Yeah. How do you reconcile that with the allegations of forced encounters?
It's a tough question.
It's the $1 million question.
Yeah.
It makes you realize that relationship,
Right.
especially when there's a power imbalance,
Yeah.
can be really messy
Yeah.
and complicated.
More than we think.
Yeah.
It's like we're trying to put together a puzzle
Mm-hmm.
where the pieces keep changing shape. You think you got it,
Yeah.
and then it's like, nope,
Yep.
that piece doesn't fit anymore.
It's a whole different puzzle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really confusing situation.
Yeah. And then to make it even more complicated,
Yeah.
the trial itself
Yeah.
had some unusual aspects to it.
Okay, like what?
Well, the judge allowed testimony
Yeah.
about Weinstein's character,
Okay.
even if it wasn't directly related
Oh,
to the charges against him.
interesting.
It's called the Molyneux rule,
Okay.
and it's not common in sexual assault cases.
I see.
Imagine being on trial
Yeah.
and the jury hears all these negative things about you,
That-
even if they have nothing to do with
They-
the specific crime you're accused of.
That seems unfair.
It is. It's
Yeah.
like you're being judged for your reputation rather than the actual accusations.
Yeah, you're not innocent until proven guilty.
Right.
In that case.
And then on top of that,
Uh-oh.
there were concerns about the judge's impartiality,
Well,
but he refused to recuse himself.
so you have this unusual ruling,
Yeah.
questions about the judge.
Mm-hmm. And then Weinstein passed 3 lie detector tests,
Oh, wow.
including one specifically about Jessica Mann.
Okay, so those tests aren't perfect,
No, of course not.
but it's still something to consider.
It adds another layer to
Well,
this
yeah.
whole thing.
And we're talking about a case with conflicting accounts.
Yeah,
Questionable evidence.
right. And this weird legal background,
Right.
it's murky.
It's really murky.
Yeah, and then right in the middle of all this,
Yeah?
you have this dramatic moment during Mann's testimony.
Okay.
She had a panic attack on the stand,
Oh.
screaming uncontrollably
Oh, my God.
while she was talking about a past sexual assault.
Oh.
And this assault was unrelated to Weinstein.
Oh, wow.
But you got to wonder
Yeah.
what impact that had on the jury.
Yeah, I can't imagine seeing something like that
Yeah.
and not being affected by it.
It would be really hard
Right.
to just ignore that. Yeah.
That raw emotion.
And separate it from the accusations
means-
against Weinstein.
Human emotions are powerful.
Yeah.
And they definitely influence how we see things.
Yeah.
Whether we realize it or not.
So she breaks down on the stand,
Yeah.
reliving a past trauma.
Mm-hmm. And then she explains
Yeah.
that those screams
Yeah.
represented all the pain she had bottled up,
Okay.
including the pain from the alleged rape
Right.
by Weinstein.
It's a powerful explanation.
It is.
But is it a genuine moment?
Right.
Or was it calculated?
It's hard to know.
Yeah, it's impossible to say for sure.
Right.
It's one of the things that makes this whole case
Yeah.
so difficult.
Like, how do you know
Yeah.
what's real trauma
Yeah.
and what's just courtroom tactics?
That's a tough question.
Yeah, and there's no easy answer.
And then
Yeah.
to make things even more complicated,
Oh, boy.
Owens brings up this email
What email?
from Mann to her boyfriend
Okay.
in 2014.
Where she describes her relationship with Weinstein.
Okay, so this is a year.
Yeah, a year after the alleged rape.
Wow. So in this email,
Yeah.
she admits to hiding the relationship
Right.
from her boyfriend
Okay.
because she was afraid of what people would think. And she
Yeah.
talks about Weinstein as a father figure.
A father figure?
Yeah, like someone who supported her
Okay.
and gave her validation that
Oh.
she didn't get from her own parents.
So on one hand,
Yeah,
she's accusing him of this horrible crime,
right.
but then she's saying he's like a father figure to her.
Yeah, it's confusing.
Super confusing.
And then she also mentions that Weinstein tried to buy her things
Okay.
and give her money,
Mm-hmm.
which she refused.
It just adds another layer to this whole thing.
It's like, is this generosity
Right.
or is it manipulation?
Right.
It depends on how you see it.
Yeah. So are we looking at a predator
Yeah,
taking advantage of a vulnerable young woman?
right.
Or is it this complicated relationship where power and ambition
Yeah,
got mixed up with a genuine connection?
right. And Mann's account of the relationship
Yeah.
seems to change over time.
Right.
Her initial allegations,
Yeah.
the events after the alleged rape,
Mm-hmm.
the emails, her
Yeah.
testimony, this letter to her boyfriend.
Yeah.
It's like a puzzle
Right.
with different pieces.
Like a shattered mirror.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. You see bits and pieces.
Yeah,
But it's hard to get the whole picture.
right. And we can't forget the
Yeah.
context of all this.
Okay.
This was happening during the Me Too movement,
Right.
when a lot of powerful men
Mm-hmm.
were being accused of things.
So are we saying
Yeah.
that social justice pressure
Mm-hmm.
might have played a role in the trial?
It's something to think about.
Yeah.
This case was huge.
Right.
It was everywhere.
Yeah.
And there was so much scrutiny
Right.
on men in power.
It was a very specific time.
Yeah.
It's like this case with all its twists and turns became like the poster child for the Me Too movement.
Yeah. It makes you wonder about trial by public opinion.
Right.
When everyone's emotions are so high,
Yeah.
it's easy to just jump to conclusions
Right. And maybe we miss some of the nuances.
and overlook evidence that doesn't fit.
Yeah. And look, we're not saying Weinstein is innocent.
Of course not.
He's obviously done some bad things.
Yeah.
But was he guilty of these specific charges
Right.
based on what Owens is presenting?
Yeah.
It's not so clear cut.
It really highlights the challenges of
Yeah.
these kinds of cases.
Hmm.
It often comes down to he said, she said,
Right.
and then you add in the power dynamics, the
Right.
conflicting stories,
Yeah.
years of interactions.
Yeah.
It's really hard to figure out the truth.
It's like, what even is the truth?
Right.
It's so messy.
And that's why it's so important to think critically.
Yeah.
Question what you hear and be
Right.
open to different perspectives.
Don't just believe everything you read,
Exactly.
whether it's from the media
Or social media.
or even your friends and family.
You got to think for yourself.
So to our listeners,
Yeah.
we leave you with this question.
Okay.
What do you believe?
Mm-hmm.
Has your opinion on this whole Weinstein case changed at all?
After seeing what Candace Owens presented,
We're not here to tell you what to think.
right,
We just want to give you the information.
and let you decide.
This case really shows how complicated justice can be.
It's not always simple.
Yeah. And when truth and perception and emotion
Yeah,
all get mixed up,
right.
it's more important than ever
Absolutely.
to look at things with a critical eye.
And an open mind.
Thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everyone.